Alright, our grid lines are up here. We're going to lay in some basement walls. But before we do that, we're going to make some modifications to the wall. So I'm going up to the architectural tab, picking wall. And over here, it's going to have, when I hit the drop down, because I've moved my properties over here, your properties may be over on the other side of the screen. It's on a generic 8-inch wall. I want a generic 8-inch masonry wall. And what I'm going to do is edit its type. So here's the masonry wall. Right here is edit type. I'm going to start looking at this wall a little bit. One thing here, it says it's 7 5/8 of an inch. I'm going to hit the edit button. I'm going to hit the edit button and I'm going to change this measurement to 8 inches. Then I'm going to say OK. I'm also going to look at its crosshatch pattern here. It says it has a diagonal crosshatch. If I select that and hit this 3 dots here, it's called an ellipses, I can change it to concrete. So it's going to look like concrete now when I draw it. The other thing I want to do, now this is picked and I've got it set up correctly, so it'll be set up that way for whatever I do in this particular drawing from here on out, is I want to draw these walls, but I do not want them unconstrained. See, it says they're unconstrained 20 feet tall. What I want to do is constrain them. I'm going to draw them basement. I'm going to constrain them to the basement level. So height, don't need to do that. Constrain to the basement. It's lower than the base of the walls. And they're going to be finish face exterior. Basement, I'm going to constrain them to the floor system from the basement. I'm sorry, I set that wrong. So here's the base constraint as the basement. It's going to go up to level floor system. So I was lying when I said basement here. You can't go from basement to basement. I am in the basement level. I'm going to constrain them to the floor system. So they're going to go from the basement up to the floor system, which they're supposed to do. And they're not going to be 20 feet tall. This is ghosted out now that they're constrained. Here I can see over in the wall properties that the base constraint is the basement. They're going up to the level floor system, unconnected height 8 feet tall. So what I'm able to do now, finish face exterior is selected over here, selected up here. That means I'm going to draw the walls in a clockwise fashion. So if I come up here and pick this corner, you can see the wall goes inside of my line. I want it to do that. I'm going to draw the basement walls, and I'm just hitting those intersections. Let's see, does that go over? That's the front stoop. Actually, that goes down to here, over to here, and up to here. Now, I can put in the beginnings of my, well, I can put in my garage and my front stoop walls, but there's one little trick to doing this. Right now they're going to be 8 feet tall. In a little while I'm going to make them 4 feet tall. So here's what I'm going to want to do when I put those in. I'm going to do wall again, and instead of touching right here, I'm going to come over a little. I'm going to leave a bit of a gap and do this wall like this, and I'm not going to bring it quite up to the wall. I'll fix that later. If I pull this wall into this wall, when I go to change the length of this back wall to 4 feet, it'll change the back basement wall 4 feet. So I always come in and leave a little bit of a space here until I get my walls edited. I just leave a little bit of a gap there, and I can make them close up. So I have these nice walls with a cement hatch pattern in them, 8 inches wide. If I go up to the view button, see right here in the middle of the screen, and I hit 3D view and go to the default, there are my basement walls. Now, these guys are going to have a 4-foot offset on the bottom of them. So if I grab these walls, and I'm going to use the control key, I can grab these walls and look over here. The basement level is where they're at, but I'm going to give them a 4-foot base offset. If I go down here and hit apply, see they went up 4 inches. Now, and this will become evident later, what I usually do is take these garage walls, depending on how we're going to build stuff, and I give them a top offset of 11.5 inches. That, whoops, 11.5 inches. Make sure you do inches. That means the top of these walls will be flush with the floor system when it goes in. These over here, if I wanted to, I could offset them 6 inches or so. We don't need to do that right now, but I am going to give them a top offset of 6 inches. That means when I put the slab on there, it'll be 10 inches, or it'll be 1.5 inches under the door. If I want, right, you can leave that at 0. I'm going to go back to the basement level. Oh, my walls disappeared. This is a big deal. They're still there. If I go to, I've now got a default 3D view over here. They're still there, but I can't see them because they're not 8 feet. Whoops, they're not 8 feet tall anymore. My software just closed. There it is. I should save this. I haven't saved all morning. Save. This is going to be Oak Park Baryonyk. I like to put the name of the student on there, so you should do that with yours. Let's go to that 3D view. See, they're still there. But the cut plane that lets these walls show up, because when you're looking at it from the top, it is a sectional view, is set at 3 feet. These guys are at 8. I'm sorry, 4. The bottoms of the wall are up 4 feet. So what you have to do is in the basement level, 2 things now. We'll have to go all the way down here. Nothing's selected. Nothing can be selected. Go down to Edit View Range, and it's probably underneath my picture because my picture's sitting down here in the corner. Let's pull this out. Edit View Range, and we're going to set this cut plane at 5 feet. It was at 4 feet. It's right at the bottom of the wall. I lied. I thought it was at 3 feet. I'm just going to set it at 5 feet. Apply it. The wall showed up. I can bring this back over and dock it. I can come up here and grab this wall. It's real easy. Just touch the dots, set it to 0. Come over here, see it says 2'4". Touch the dot to get it to go to the edge of the wall. Set it to 0. Same thing here. Touch the wall. I don't want it to go to the middle or the inside. There, set it to 0. Do the same thing to this one. Set it to 0. We need a footing under there. Structure. So the structure, here's, this one has a structural foundation wall. It puts a footing underneath of it. But the footing is 36 by 12. We're going to edit that. We're going to duplicate it and say that it's 16 by 8. 16. That just changed the name. The width has to be 16 inches. The thickness has to be 8 inches. Now our magic has been done here. We're on a wall footing, bearing footing that's 16 by 8. Sometimes I like to do this in 3D just to see it go in. So if I go and touch that, make sure I'm on the 16 by 8. If I go and touch the walls, footings magically appear underneath them. Back to the basement view. The footings show up here. They don't show up here. Once more, we need to edit view range. Change one thing on the view range. Nothing can be selected. Edit view range, and on this associated level view depth, put it at, I think, -1 will work. That's 1 foot. Yep, then they'll show up. So now we have our basement walls and our footings for our stoop. Come on. This guy is running a little jerky and slow today. There we go. Oh, I'm having all kinds of fun today. Set that one over there for a minute. Set this one over here. Zoom it out. I'll get those back in place, and then we'll work on a few other things. But there's your basement.